Hey guys, welcome to my channel. I'm sure you came here for writing assistance, and I can provide. But before I see those hate comments, I want to ask you all to listen to me. I'm not offering any solutions to writer's block. I just lost 50% of my viewership, but for those who stayed, I salute you. Welcome to the military. We're glad you enlisted. Speaking of, please subscribe. There have been many videos on getting over writer's block, but I want to talk about why it ever happens in the first place for amateur writers like us. Well, amateur writers like you. I have 50,000 power in Rise of Kingdoms. In my correct opinion, writer's block is simply a lack of interest. While some envision it as a wall, I think of it as a sort of fog. Call me Mr. Analogy, but don't actually. That would be pretty dumb. You see, a wall is an impassable obstacle that can be broken down slowly or climbed slowly. A fog, however, fits the definition more precisely. A fog cannot be conquered with brute force, but is more effectively taken on steps at a time, whereas a wall is just a one-time thing that goes away after it's broken. In actual writing, you can try and bust through writer's block, but you'll often end up lost and turn back. If you don't have a clear goal in mind, walking through the fog is demotivating, as you can't see the end, slowly growing thicker over time. Writer's block doesn't just happen once. A fog can come back eventually, like Dr. Dre, or cancer. Okay, now that we've defined writer's block, let's move on to why it happens. Like I've said, writer's block is just a lack of interest. The reason that happens, though, can be more complicated. If you start a project but are misinterpreting the process over the outcome, then problems may arise while you write. Or you simply give up, because your original idea is outshadowed by another. Or you are trying to emulate other authors and end up losing hope without basic fundamentals. Of course, there are other reasons, but these are the most basic. Inexperience often is the root of all these problems, and even with motivation, proper guidance is recommended to achieve an outcome that is satisfactory. What I suggest, and yes, this is a suggestion, not a solution, is to take a step back and really think about why you're encountering a barrier. Reflect on the reason and a possible solution on your own. Example time. Let's say I was writing a basic script for a basic play about two socks falling in love. Controversial, I know. Let's call it Stinky Fit. I've seen a great play. Hamlet, I suppose. It inspired me to write like Shakespeare, so I type up a basic synopsis. I smile confidently to myself as I talk in front of a camera. If my play is written like Shakespeare, it will be as good as Shakespeare. I start writing, and soon realize what a task this is. Always trying to fill the shoes of others, I soon get lost in a hole with no daylight. What sock is foul, what stinky is fair. I know, wrong play. My synopsis is filled with holes, and I am getting unmotivated by the day. Tragedy. How can we solve this issue? Perhaps we can start by simply taking inspiration and not taking after any other writers. We are not Shakespeare, but we can learn from him. And I quote, "Doth mother is large." Next, stepping back and setting realistic goals would be a good start, and giving a workable load to my dear alternative self. Next, I should get some fresh eyes, criticism, inspiration, anything to keep myself going. At last, my sock play is complete. Thanks, my future self. You're welcome. Well, that's all. I know it was a short video, but I'll be back to make more soon. This has been Mr. Analogy, sock play writer, signing off.